Be me, 29 years old, working as regional sales manager for pharmaceutical company. Been here for 6 years and consistently exceed my targets every quarter. Company sells medical devices to hospitals and clinics across the country. Sales team is about 80 people, split between regional and national accounts. Our VP of sales retires, and they promote someone internally to fill role. Guy named Omar, who has been here forever, and everyone respects him. He announces in first meeting that we are expanding leadership teams significantly, creating 4 new director positions to better manage our growing territories regionally. These director roles are big promotions with significant salary increases and equity. Would manage teams of 10 to 15 people and report directly to Omar. I have been working toward this kind of promotion for past 2 years. My numbers are top 3 in company, and I have mentored several junior reps. Company also adds a new board member named Vivian, who is 45 and vocal. She comes from a nonprofit background focused on women's empowerment and equity. At first board meeting, she reviews our leadership demographics and expresses concern clearly. Says we have too many men in leadership roles compared to overall workforce. Our CEO explains that promotions are merit-based and leadership reflects our top performers. Vivian says merit-based systems perpetuate existing inequalities by design and intent. Says we need to actively correct for gender imbalance at leadership levels. Proposes that no men should be promoted until women represent 50%. CEO seems uncomfortable, but says he will take her concerns into consideration going forward. The VEN says this is not a suggestion. This is what the board expects. Says companies with gender-balanced leadership perform better, according to research, always. Says this is about fairness and creating equal opportunities for women here. Omar starts the process for filling the 4 new director positions, sends out internal posting, and asks people to apply with their performance records. I apply immediately, along with probably 20 other people from sales team. My numbers speak for themselves, so I feel confident about my chances. Interview process takes about a month, with multiple rounds of meetings and presentations. I do well in every interview, and Omar tells me privately I am top candidate. Says my track record and leadership with junior reps makes me obvious choice. Tells me to expect good news when final decisions are made next week. Final candidates are narrowed down to 8 people for the 4 open positions, 3 women and 5 men, including me, all with strong performance records. The other men are also top performers who have been here 5+ years. The women have good numbers too, but not quite at the same level overall. Omar presents his recommendations to executive team for final approval before announcing. He recommends me and 3 other top performers for the director roles. 2 of his recommendations are men, and 2 are women, based purely on numbers. His choices reflect the actual top performers, regardless of any demographic factors. Executive team meets to discuss, and Vivian immediately objects to his recommendations. Says promoting 2 men and 2 women still leaves leadership too male-dominated. Says we need to promote all 3 women candidates to correct the imbalance. Omar explains that would mean passing over clearly more qualified male candidates. Vivian says qualifications are subjective and shaped by biased systems, historically always. Says the women have been held back by those same systems throughout careers. Says promoting them now is correcting for past discrimination they have faced. CEO asks if she is suggesting we ignore performance metrics entirely for this. Vivian says she is suggesting we look at the whole picture, not just numbers. Says leadership is about more than sales targets. It is about representation and values. Says having more women in leadership will create better culture and opportunities going forward. Omar tries to argue, but Vivian has board authority backing her position here. The executive team ends up compromising by promoting 3 women and 1 man for the roles. I am not the man who gets promoted, even though my numbers are highest. Guy named Derek gets it, and his numbers are lower than mine this quarter. Omar pulls me aside after announcement and says he fought for me hard. Tells me Vivian insisted on promoting 3 women to move toward gender balance. Says my performance was better, but board overruled his recommendation for me specifically. Says he is sorry and promises to find another opportunity for me soon. I am furious, but try to stay professional about the situation publicly. The 3 women who get promoted are named Sienna, Meredith, and Paulina here. All are decent performers, but objectively not top tier compared to some men passed over. Sienna is good but inconsistent and missed targets 2 quarters this past year. Meredith is solid, but has only been here 3 years compared to my 6 years. Paulina is actually pretty strong and probably deserved promotion based on merit alone. But the other 2 are clearly diversity picks, not merit picks for positions. Several of us who got passed over start talking privately about what happened. We compare our numbers to the people who got promoted, and pattern is obvious. Guy named Trevor, who has been here 8 years, got passed over despite top numbers. Another guy named Kendrick, who brought in 3 major hospital contracts, got passed over. Both of us are outperforming the women who got promoted by significant margins, but we got blocked because of our gender, not our performance or qualification. We hear through the grapevine that Viven personally vetoed our promotions and meeting, told executive team that promoting more men would send wrong message to workforce, said the company needed to make statement about commitment to gender equity. Our qualifications and hard work did not matter because we are men, apparently. A few weeks after promotions are announced and new directors are settling into roles, I notice that Sienna is struggling with managing her new team of 12 people. She micromanages everything, and her team is complaining about her leadership style constantly. 2 of her reps asked to transfer to other teams within first month. Meredith is having trouble with the strategic planning aspects of director role. Clearly, she was great as individual contributor, but management is different skill set entirely. Her team misses quarterly targets because she cannot coordinate efforts effectively across territories. Omar has to step in and help her reorganize her team's approach to sales. Paulina is actually doing well and seems to be growing into the role naturally. She has good instincts for leadership, and her team is performing solidly. But Derek, the one man who got promoted, is also doing really well. Shows that merit-based promotions tend to work out better than diversity-based ones. I am still doing my job, but frustrated watching less qualified people in roles above me. My performance stays strong because I am professional, but morale is low. Honestly, several other high performers who got passed over are also updating their resumes quietly. The company is risking losing good people because of this board interference and promotions. Vivian comes to one of our sales meetings to talk about diversity and inclusion. Gives presentation about how important it is to have women in leadership roles. Talks about breaking glass ceilings and creating opportunities for marginalized groups always. I sit there knowing I got passed over specifically because of my gender. She takes questions, and someone asks if merit still matters in promotion decisions. Vivian says, "Of course merit matters, but we have to consider broader context." Says, "Sometimes we need to make conscious choices to correct historical imbalances here." Says, "That is not discrimination against men. It is equity for women overall." I raise my hand and ask if passing over higher performers based on gender is legal. Viven looks annoyed and says no one was passed over based on gender only. Says all promoted candidates were qualified and decisions considered many factors beyond numbers. I do not push further, but we both know that is not true at all. After meeting, Trevor pulls me aside and says he talked to an employment lawyer. Lawyer said, "What company did?" Sounds like potential gender discrimination case. Clearly says, if we can prove men were blocked from promotions because of gender, we have claim. Asks if I would be interested in joining him in filing a complaint. Tell him I need to think about it because suing your employer is a big step. He says he understands, but company cannot get away with this kind of discrimination. Says if we do not stand up for ourselves, this will keep happening. gives me the lawyer's contact info, and says to reach out if interested. Spend the next few days thinking about whether to pursue legal action here. On one hand, I do not want to be a guy who sues company over promotion. On other hand, what they did was wrong, and I have clear evidence. My numbers were objectively better than people who got promoted over me. Talked to my wife about it, and she says I should at least consult lawyer. Says if I have a case, I should pursue it because discrimination is discrimination. Says, does not matter if discrimination is against men, it is still illegal. She is right, and I decide to call the lawyer Trevor recommended. Meet with lawyer named Patricia, who specializes in employment discrimination cases here. Show her all my performance reviews and sales numbers compared to promoted employees. Show her emails and documents proving I was top candidate before board got involved. She reviews everything carefully and says, I definitely have a case worth pursuing. She explains that Title VII prohibits discrimination based on sex, including against men. Says companies cannot pass over qualified candidates because of their gender, regardless. Says even if company claims it is for diversity purposes, it is still illegal discrimination. Asks if I know of other men who were similarly passed over for women. Tell her about Trevor and Kendrick, who both got blocked despite strong performance. She says multiple plaintiffs would strengthen the case significantly against company here. Says it shows pattern of discrimination, not just one isolated incident or decision. Asks if I am willing to go forward knowing it will be difficult in public. Tell her yes, because what company did was wrong and needs consequences. She says she will reach out to Trevor and Kendrick to see if interested. Says she will file EEOC complaint first before potential lawsuit down the road. Warns me that company will likely retaliate in subtle ways, so document everything. A few weeks later, Trevor, Kendrick, and I all filed joint EEOC complaint against company. Complaint alleges gender discrimination and promotion decisions based on protected class status. Includes all our performance data showing we outperformed people who got promoted. Cites Viven's statements about not promoting more men as evidence of discriminatory intent. Company gets notified of complaint and immediately goes into defensive mode here. HR starts investigating and interviewing everyone involved in promotion process thoroughly. Viven releases statements saying complaint is baseless and promotions were merit-based. Says she is disappointed that some employees are trying to undermine diversity efforts. Omar gets pulled into meetings with legal team and HR about his recommendations. He tells them honestly that he recommended us, but board overruled him for diversity. His testimony supports our case that we were blocked specifically because of gender. Company realizes they have a problem and starts trying to settle quietly. Their lawyers reach out to our lawyer, offering settlement and asking our terms. Patricia says they want this to go away before discovery reveals more evidence. Says we have them on the ropes because Omar's testimony proves discrimination clearly. Asks what outcome we want beyond just money from settlement offer. Tell her I want the promotions I earned, and I want policy change going forward. Want acknowledgement that what they did was wrong, and assurance it will not happen again. Trevor and Kendrick feel the same way about wanting actual change, not just payout. Patricia says those demands might be harder to get than just money settlement. She goes back to company with our demands, and they reject them initially. Say they cannot give us promotions now because positions are filled already. Say they cannot admit wrongdoing because it would expose them to more liability. Say they can offer substantial financial settlement, but that is all legally. We reject their offer and tell Patricia to move forward with lawsuit. Complaint gets filed in federal court alleging gender discrimination under Title VII. Clearly, local news picks up the story because gender discrimination against men is an unusual angle. Headlines say, Men sue pharmaceutical company for blocking promotions to favor women. Story goes viral on social media, and company is getting roasted in comments. People are pointing out that discrimination is wrong, regardless of who it targets. Feminists are divided, with some saying men cannot experience discrimination at all. Others saying equality means equal treatment, and company was clearly wrong here. Vivian does interview with business publication, defending company's diversity initiative strongly. Says the lawsuit is example of fragile masculinity and resistance to progress. Says men who sue over not getting promotions are threatened by women's advancement. Says this is exactly why we need more women in leadership to change culture. Her comments get added to our lawsuit as further evidence of discriminatory animus. Our lawyer says Vivian keeps making our case stronger with every statement she makes. Says juries do not like when companies admit they treated people differently based on sex. Says her public statements about men needing to step back prove our case perfectly. Company realizes Vivian is liability and asks her to stop doing interviews immediately. But damage is done, and her statements are all on record now as evidence. She posts on social media that she is being silenced for speaking truth, continues to dig hole deeper for company's legal defense with every post. Discovery process begins, and we get access to internal emails and meeting notes. Find email from Vivian to CEO, explicitly saying, no more men until we hit 50% women. Find board meeting minutes where she said qualified men need to step aside for women. Find text messages between executives discussing how to justify passing us over for diversity. Our lawyer is thrilled because evidence is even stronger than we thought initially. Says these documents prove intentional discrimination beyond any reasonable doubt here. Says company will almost certainly settle now rather than let this go to trial. Says we have all the leverage and can push for our original demands again. Company comes back with new settlement offer, including promotions and policy changes. They agree to create 3 new director positions immediately and promote us into them. They agree to revise promotion policy to be strictly merit-based going forward. They agree to pay our legal fees and compensatory damages for discrimination. Only thing they will not do is admit fault or force Vivian off the board. Say those are non-negotiable because admitting fault opens them to more lawsuits. Say Vivian has support from other board members who believe in diversity mission. We talk it over and decide to accept settlement with those terms included. Settlement gets finalized, and we all get promoted to director roles. Finally, company announces they are creating new positions to expand leadership capacity. Does not mention the lawsuit or settlement in their announcement to employees, but everyone knows what really happened because news coverage was extensive everywhere. Vivian releases a statement saying she is glad company is creating more opportunities, frames it as victory for her diversity advocacy that we are now getting promoted, completely ignores that we had to sue to get what we earned on merit, rewrites narrative to make herself look good instead of admitting she was wrong. First day in my new director role, and it feels bittersweet, honestly. I earned this position years ago, but had to fight legal battle to get it. Several coworkers congratulate me, but some give me cold shoulder because of lawsuit. Some people think we were wrong to sue and should have just accepted decisions. Sienna, who got promoted over me, is now my peer in leadership meetings. She barely speaks to me and clearly resents that I sued company over her promotion. But her team is still struggling, and Omar is losing patience with her performance. Heard he is considering moving her back to individual contributor roles soon. Trevor and Kendrick are also in their new director roles and doing well. Our teams are performing at high level because we actually earned these positions. We prove every day that we were the right choices for promotion from start. The women who got promoted for diversity mostly are not performing as well. Few months into new role in company is dealing with fallout from lawsuits. Still, several more men have come forward saying they were also passed over for diversity. HR is investigating all recent promotion decisions to make sure no discrimination occurred. Vivian is being advised by legal team to step back from personnel decisions going forward. She is furious about being sidelined and posts about it on social media regularly. Says the patriarchy is fighting back against progress and trying to silence her. Says men cannot handle women having power and will sue rather than compete. completely ignores that we competed and won. But she blocked us illegally. 6 months after settlement, and Vivian resigns from board after pressure from investors. They are tired of her creating legal liability for company with her statements. Her departure is framed as pursuing other opportunities, but everyone knows truth. She immediately goes back to nonprofit world, where she can push ideology without legal consequences. She does podcast interview about her experience and still claims she did nothing wrong. Says the company abandoned their diversity commitment under pressure from lawsuit. Says she was forced out for standing up for women and equity. Takes zero responsibility for discrimination or legal mess she created for company. I listen to interview and shake my head at her complete lack of self-awareness. She destroyed people's careers, including mine, for ideology and will not admit it. She claims to support equality, but actively discriminated against men for being men. That is not equality. That is just discrimination with a different target chosen. Think about how close I came to never getting the promotion I earned. If we had not sued, I would still be in my old role watching less qualified people above me. Vivian would have continued blocking men from advancement for her diversity quotas. Other talented people would have left company because merit did not matter anymore. The lawsuit cost me stress, time, and money, but it was worth it. We proved that discrimination is wrong, regardless of who it targets. We established that companies cannot favor one gender over another, even for diversity. We protected future employees from having their careers destroyed by ideological board members. Company culture has shifted since the lawsuit and settlement was finalized here. Promotions are now much more transparent and based clearly on performance metrics. Nobody talks about diversity quotas anymore because legal teams shut that down. People are judged on their results, not their demographics, which is how it should be. The women who were promoted for diversity are mostly struggling still in roles. Sienna got demoted back to individual contributor after her team collapsed completely. Meredith is on performance improvement plan because her numbers are consistently low. Only Paulina is thriving because she actually had the skills for a leadership role. This proves that diversity without merit helps nobody in the long run, puts unqualified people in positions they are not ready for, which hurts them, passes over qualified people, which hurts them and makes them leave company, creates resentment and division instead of actual equality or fairness for anyone. Year after lawsuit, and I am being considered for VP role eventually. My team has consistently exceeded targets, and other leaders respect my work. This is what merit-based promotion looks like when discrimination is removed. I got here because of my performance, not because of my gender or identity. Trevor and Kendrick are also being groomed for senior leadership roles here. Company learned their lesson about blocking talent for ideological reasons. Finally, our lawsuit saved the company from destroying itself with bad diversity policies. We did them a favor, even though they fought us every step of the way. Vivian is now a consultant helping other companies implement diversity programs. Apparently, wonder how many of them will end up getting sued like our company did? She learned nothing from experience and will repeat same mistakes elsewhere. Some people never learn. They just find new places to cause same problems. Sometimes blocking promotions for diversity creates discrimination, not equality at all. Sometimes the people screaming about equity are the ones treating people most unfairly. Sometimes you have to sue to get what you earned because ideology overrides merit. And sometimes a board member's crusade gets wrecked when lawyers show up with evidence.